everyone. Welcome. We are here for Ashley's Heart Song. This is the place where we get out of the stress and back into our body. Because when we live our life according to the song of our heart, we get out of the stress in life and we begin to really dive into our purpose, our reason for being, and living an exponentially beautiful life. So that is my love for you. And I am grateful that you are here with me today, speaking on courage once again. We're on this sacred metabolizer journey. And I so love the sacred metabolizers. I was explaining in another episode that the sacred metabolizers are really about being the biological equivalent of a word that has elevated vibrations, elevated frequencies. And when we do that, when we are that, that is when we actually transform our biology, the biology of our body, to heal and repair and restore itself so much better. So let's do our little weekly vitality score and see how things are rolling for you this week. When we're looking at our vitality, which is what we are all about here, it's really about just feeling good in your life and not being hindered by the muck. And so when you're looking at the physical vitality of your body this week, how would you rate that energy that you feel within your body today on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being, you have so much energy, your physical body feels so good, it's mobile, flexible, it's doing everything you want, it's metabolizing, it's digesting, it's assimilating, it's just on point. Or maybe it's below a 5, maybe it's more around digestive upset, maybe your body feels stiff, or maybe you're hurting today. So where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And then we have the mental body. Mentally, where are you today on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you really on point and you're scoring a 10? You have clear thinking, feel on top of it, or are you closer to the 1 to 5 bracket where you foggy thinking, unmotivated mentally? Where are you scoring on mental energy and vitality this week? Then move into your emotional body. Your emotional body, are you balanced? Are you in harmony? When you pause for a moment and just tune into the emotions in your body, do you feel in harmony? Or are you in angst? 1 to 10. 10 being you feel in harmony, 1 being you feel in angst. And then the final one is the spirit, your spirit. The one that is here to live a life utilizing your spiritual gift and serving in a powerful way. How do you feel spiritually? Are you connected? Are you listening? Are you in that space of openness and you're receiving that information, that intuition, that guidance? 1 to 10, 10 being yes, or 1 being little disconnected today. All right. Now, how did you rate? 40 is your highest score. Are you above a 20? Are you higher than you were last week? Do you see your score going up and down if you're doing it every week with me? Are you seeing that little roller coaster ride? If it's a small little roller coaster ride, like the mini mine train at Six Flags here in Texas, you know, maybe there are these little bitty bumps, or it could be the shock wave, which is real highs and real lows. Now that we don't want, we want more of the mini mine train where they're just little, right? We want to be in the flow. And how do we do that? We continue to learn, we continue to show up, we continue to receive information and see how it's going to benefit us. And that is the purpose of this show, is just to give you ideas of how things that you can use and practices that you can incorporate that will help you to live a more vitally filled life. All right, so y'all, fear is an indecision. Fear is when we are in, it's like the deer in headlight moment. And I love one of the quotes that I found. It's more of a reaction. whereas courage is a decision. So when you have been faced with something in your life, any experience, anything at all, did you notice that you were in reaction mode? Anytime we're in reaction mode, like we spin on a dime and reaction, that is typically a fear. When we are in decisive action, decisions, that is when we are stepping into courage. There's a story I want to share with y'all today, and this is a childhood friend of mine. And not too long ago, they were driving down the highway. It was at night, and they come upon a recent accident of just a one-car accident, and the car was beginning to get on fire. It was smoking, and the fire was starting in the engine. My friend pulls over, jumps out of the car, and without thinking, goes and pulls the people out of the vehicle. So we wonder, okay, wait a minute, that was like really decisive action. It wasn't a reaction. It was more of a decisive action. And then imagine what that felt like within his body. Because usually when we're in fear, we have this reaction of, oh, do I not? Do I not? And we're just like going back and forth, back and forth. But in this situation, my friend, it was like, oh no, people are in the car, decisive action, went right to it. Did not think about anything else, just that the people needed help. So where in your life, that is an extreme example of courage, right? One we don't want to have to go into. But in your life, where are you kind of just going back and forth, reacting, trying to make a decision, but not making a decision because you're in that fear? Or are you making decisive action towards what you want to accomplish in your life? Decisive action in pursuing your dreams. Because the moment we start doing this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, letting fear fill our mind with all the doubts and all the reasons why we can't do it, then it's never going to happen. But if we take decisive action every day, then it will. And you will pursue your dreams. When you take decisive action, you're putting courage on. So this journey that we're on is about being the biological equivalent of courage. How can we be the biological equivalent of courage so that our body feels that elevated state of strength, of vitality, of decisive action, the results of those decisive actions? I love what W. Clement Stone says. He says, thinking will not overcome fear, but action will. Courage is about action. It's not about sitting on the sidelines. Where in your life are you sitting on the sidelines where you need to be taking decisive action? By suiting up in courage, you can help yourself to overcome 5 fears that I'm going to be going over today. 5 fears where we can use courage so that we can pursue our dreams and live a life that is truly worth living. 1 is the fear of failure. Fear of failure will stop us in our tracks. The fear of failure leaves nothing accomplished. I'm thinking back in my life when I was a young kid, fear was written all over me. I was what my sister called a worrywart because I worried about everything. And I was a gymnast and I loved tumbling so much. But fear would enter in and stop me in my tracks of doing the tricks that I was really wanting to do and that I knew my body could do with ease. However, in some areas of gymnastics, there was this fear of failure that I wasn't going to be good enough, that I wouldn't make it, that I disappoint my coach, or I wouldn't make cheerleader because I couldn't do something. Just that fear of failure was all around my gymnastics life. And that was, when I look back on that, I think, wow, that really stunted my growth in gymnastics. I loved it and I loved going to the mat, But my growth in gymnastics was severely stunted because of that fear of failure that just was like a shroud over me. So what can we do when we are in that place of fear of failure? Maybe you have something in your life you would love to do. Maybe you would love to speak on stage. Maybe you would love to learn how to ride a horse. Maybe you would love to take on a new hobby, but there's a fear of failure in it. What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't get it? What if I never would get on a dance floor because a fear of failing as a dancer, a person who could move their hips in time with the music. I mean, I felt like I was just like a robot. And there's that fear of failure. Y'all understand what I'm talking about with all these examples. We've all been there and we've all had that fear of failure. But what if for a moment we just paused? What if we paused and we asked, wait a minute, what's the gift in this experience? If I'm fearing the failure of even trying, if I do it, if I do take decisive action through this fear, what is the gift in that for me? What opportunity will this bring me if I just decide to go for it? And when we see that gift and that opportunity, that right there can help us to launch over that hurdle of the failure that we feel in even trying to do it. So gift and opportunity is the first tip around that first fear of failure, is just look at the gift within, the opportunity within. The second fear I want to speak with y'all about is the fear of the unknown. Yes, not knowing what's ahead, not knowing what the outcome is. That will also stop us in our tracks. If I don't know what the outcome of something is, and I can't determine what it would be, how do I get myself to move forward through that? We navigate our way through. We take that Hawkeye view and we go, okay, wait a minute. If I'm wanting to do this specific action and I don't know what the outcome is going to be, maybe I want to go to an event. Maybe I want to go experience something new, skydiving, but I have no idea what is going to happen when I land on the ground. That is a fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen the whole time the chute is coming out. Is it going to come out? Is it going to open up? Am I going to float down? The fear of the unknown. But what if you take that Hawkeye view and you navigate your way through the situation so that you can see all the different angles of how to parachute out of a plane, all the steps that go into it, all the different perspectives around learning how to do it, the instructor, just learning everything that you can. And I don't know why this example is coming to my mind right now, because I have never done this before. I just think it would be really cool, but I have never done it before. But it's just, there's this Hawkeye view that we can take, and we can begin to navigate our way through the unknown simply by looking at it from a different angle, stepping outside the fear and seeing all the different angles that we can take in order to accomplish it. So fear of the unknown, I recommend navigating your way through it through the Hawkeye view. The third fear that we have that we can use courage to overcome is that fear of rejection. When we have a fear of rejection, we are all inside of pleasing other people, caring what they think, not doing something because other people may feel differently about it or may think differently about it, not wanting to disappoint. That fear of rejection may have stopped you many times in your life from experiencing something you really wanted to experience because you're afraid of what other people thought. So what do we do in instances like this when there's this fear and we are so come with what others think and feel about us and our actions. First, we can identify, what are we really afraid of? What is the fear here that needs to be addressed? Because it really isn't about what other people think. It's something much deeper inside of you that is stopping you. So identify the real fear, the true fear. That right there takes courage. That takes courage to step into that and to see that fear and to see, wow, I'm really afraid of that. What do I do with that? And you'll find your way. You'll begin to navigate then. You'll navigate your way through that issue once you can see it clearly. But our fear of rejection is usually stemmed from what other people are going to think of us. And that isn't important. In the grand scheme of things and in the big picture of life, that's probably the most unimportant thing, is what other people are going to think of you. Because it really all boils down to, what do you think of yourself? How do you feel about yourself? Step into that love, step into that courage to see you clearly, and then it won't matter what other people think. The next fear that I wanted to talk with y'all about is the fear of change. Fear of change. That used to be a biggie for me. What about you? Have you been in fear of change? You know, this is when we can really use courage, because change is normal. Change is what this world, this journey in life is all about, is change. Things change. Seasons change over and over and over again, right? There's a new season coming around the bend all the time. Change is inevitable. So fearing change, if you are one that fears change, it will stop you in your tracks from doing anything that you would love to do in your life, because change is inevitable. Change is just part of it. So how can you circumvent this? How can you step into courage and walk through the change and begin to look forward to the change? You know, you can utilize that gift that I shared with you on the first fear. But when you just look inside the gift of the change, what is the gift here? In this change process, wow, where's the gift? In the change going from fall to winter, where's the gift in that? Oh my goodness, there's so much yumminess. We could have a white Christmas. We could have snow days or ice days to where we just get to have fun and play outside. There's a lot of gifts in that change. So that is very positive. But then another thing we can do is we can explore. We can explore different ideas and different positives that would come from that change. Go on an exploration, brainstorm, bring all of these different ideas forward in order to walk through that change with courage. How would you explore that? How would you explore a situation in order to overcome the fear of change and to step into that change with, enlightenment and that courage? That being that biological equivalent, so your body hums and you burn more fat at rest. Because really, isn't that what we want to do? We want to burn fat and gain lean tissue. So step into the biological equivalent of courage, be that courage with all of these different tools and tips so that your biology is humming and you are utilizing and mobilizing fat for energy and being the healthiest version of you. The last one, the last fear that is a biggie, is the fear of financial insecurity, or sometimes it's the fear of financial security. So it can go either way. That is one of the biggest fears for people, is the finances. So one way to walk through the fear of finances, the fear of not being secure or being secure, is by activating your sage muscle. The sage in you is the wise one. The sage in you is the intuitive wisdom within you. And when we activate that, we can begin to take that higher look at what's really happening. And we can even utilize that other tool that I taught you and really go into, what am I really fearing here? And looking that fear in the face, because it's really not fear around the finances. There's a greater fear at work here that is within you. And when we can go through and activate the sage within us, the one that is that inner wise guide, activate that, then we can begin to see what we are really afraid of when it comes to financial wellness. So fear of failure, the unknown, rejection, change, and finances are 5 fears that we have found typically hold people back. Stops them from pursuing their dreams. So if there's something that you would really love to have in your life, you've been dreaming about it since you were young, and it still hadn't come to fruition, then try bringing courage to the platform with you. Step into courage, be that biological equivalent, and use these tools that I've given you in order to activate that courage within you. Because you can walk through any one of these 5 fears with ease and grace when you get out of the muck puddle of those fears and you rise up and you take the Hawkeye view to look at them from that higher place. And that's where all of your intuition and all your guidance is going to come to the forefront, and you're going to be able to walk through each one of these fears with ease and grace. So fun. So fun. So that is my message for you today. And courage is a biggie. It's my favorite, as you can tell with the story that I gave you around my friend rescuing those people out of their car. That is just amazing. And then the courage that I found through my journey through anxiety, the courage that I had to take in order to walk through that anxiety, it took it every single day. I had to step into courage to walk out my door, to get in the car, to eat a particular food. It took courage every time I turned around. But the more I built that muscle, the more courage began to be easier for me to tap into and for me to walk with it in my life. May this bless you richly today, and stay tuned for more on our Sacred Metabolizer journey. If you are joining us live today, thank you so much for being here as part of the live audience. And if you are watching the replay, thank you for finding us. I'm so grateful that you are here for Ashley's Heart Song. Until next time, much love and a big hug. See you soon.